What if Columbus had never reached America? Have you ever wondered what the world would look like if Christopher Columbus had never made the voyage that changed history forever? What if, in 1492, the sailor from Spain had drowned in a storm or turned back out of fear of the unknown sea? If that had happened, our world might have been completely different. Columbus's discovery didn't just open a new land, it set in motion events that reshaped the entire world. 1492 was a year when Europe was obsessed with trade, power, and gold. Queen Isabella of Spain sponsored Columbus to find a new sea route to India and China, so that Spain could bypass Arab merchants who controlled the existing trade routes. But fate had other plans. Columbus sailed westward, and when he finally saw land, he believed he had reached Asia. In reality, he was standing on a completely new continent, the Americas. If Columbus had never reached America, Europe might have remained unaware of the New World for centuries. Spain, Portugal, France, and England would have continued focusing on Africa and Asia. The world's wealth would still have circulated through the East. India, China, and the Arab world would have remained the centers of global trade and culture. Without the discovery of America, Europe's rise to dominance might never have happened, and the Industrial Revolution could have been delayed by centuries. After Columbus, Spain began its conquest of South America. Hernán Cortés destroyed the Aztec Empire. Francisco Pizarro wiped out the Inca civilization. Within a century, the native peoples of the Americas were decimated. Scholars estimate that diseases brought by Europeans killed nearly 90 million indigenous people. If Columbus hadn't come, perhaps the great civilizations of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca would still exist today, their temples still standing, their gods still worshipped. If Columbus hadn't arrived, the horrific transatlantic slave trade might never have begun. To work the lands of the New World, Europeans captured and enslaved millions of Africans. It's estimated that around 10 million people died during the voyages alone. This dark chapter of human history all began with Columbus's first voyage. Without it, human trafficking on such a massive scale might never have happened. Columbus's discovery brought Spain unimaginable wealth, gold, silver, and natural resources. Spain used this fortune to expand its empire, Britain built a global navy, and France established colonies. Without the riches of the Americas, Europe might never have had the capital to dominate the world. Even the Industrial Revolution, the age of machines, factories, and electricity, was fueled by wealth extracted from the New World. Without it, the modern age might have arrived much later. Now imagine the political consequences. If America had never been discovered, there would have been no United States in 1776. The world's largest democracy, the global superpower, the land of technology and innovation, all of it would have remained a dream. Without the United States, World War II might have ended very differently. Germany could have conquered Europe, and Hitler might never have been stopped. The Soviet Union would have stood alone, and the world could have fallen under a new authoritarian order. Culturally, the world would also look completely different. Without Columbus, there would be no Hollywood, no jazz music, no internet, and no American dream. The world might still be ruled by monarchies and religious empires. The ideas of freedom, individuality, and capitalism might never have emerged. Human civilization might still be trapped in systems of kings, courts, and subjects. Religion, too, would have taken a different path. After Columbus, Christian missionaries flooded the Americas, erasing indigenous faiths and traditions. Without that voyage, millions might still worship the sun, the moon, and nature. Christianity's global expansion would have been slower, and spiritual life around the world might have evolved differently. Some historians argue that if Columbus hadn't gone, someone else, like John Cabot or Amerigo Vespucci, would have reached the Americas eventually. But even if they had, history might have unfolded less violently. Perhaps they would have traded with native peoples instead of enslaving them. Maybe the Americas could have become a peaceful continent rather than a battleground of colonization and conquest. Columbus's absence wouldn't just mean one man missing, it would have changed the entire course of human civilization. The Industrial Revolution, capitalism, global trade, slavery, and technology all would have been delayed or reshaped. Europe's dominance would have faded, and Asia might have remained the world's center of power. Maybe today, the world's most powerful nations would be India or China. The global language might not be English, but Urdu, Persian, or Chinese. The world map, the balance of power, and even the way we think about progress would be entirely different. There might be no America, no White House, no New York. And in the end, one haunting question would remain. Was Columbus's voyage a blessing or a curse for humanity? On one hand, it connected the world, but on the other, it unleashed centuries of suffering. It brought progress, but also destruction. Without him, the world might have been less advanced, but perhaps more humane. So ask yourself, if Columbus's ship had sunk in the storm, would we still be living in the same world today? Would our languages, our cultures, and our lives look the same? Probably not. The entire story of humanity might have taken a completely different turn.